All right, hey, I'm Joey,
I'm Lori.
and we are Christ-centered marriage and family. We just wanted to do a little update. We're just gonna maybe once a week just give you a update on what's going on with our channel. We're trying to make improvements and to do this better. We learned a lot in the last year. We're going on about 11 months doing this, almost 12, and we're getting better. And I hadn't told her this yet, but something that just happened recently is our channel went over 1,000 subscribers. So approaching 1,100, and that's a big deal. I can remember. You remember it wasn't there very long ago we had 100.
Yeah.
Well, they got 100. Hey, so we
Yay.
thank you, everybody that's watching us. If you're one of those 1,000 subscribers, we thank you. We hope that we've been beneficial to you, and we're going to try to keep pushing good Christ-centered family marriage content, and we need to get back to some blended family content. We're gonna work on that. Um, but look, last week we did a couple of videos. We did one on 7 ways to improve your marriage, some of the 7 problems, and how you can improve them. And if you have not watched that, go back and watch that. That's a good video with 7 things that kind of destroy marriages.
Hmm.
And the order we put them in might not be the order you put them in. Uh, and before that, we did a video on a guy named Doug Wilson, and I got a lot of pushback from people. I got more negative responses than positive, but I'm not going back and retracting what I said or what we said. Um, there's a lot of Christian teachings out there that are I guess dangerous and dangerous too bad. Is that too hard a word?
Not really.
You got to be careful what you uh, follow. Doug Wilson might be a good guy, and he might mean well, but some of his teachings uh, are not what we approve of.
Hmm.
And our point of doing that video, there was a CNN video with a reporter named Pamela Brown. Now, I don't watch CNN. I don't watch Fox News or whatever. I don't watch none of it. Um, but I think she did a good job, and it was on YouTube and the internet, X and Facebook. So you just couldn't avoid it. So I'm like, I'm gonna watch this. And yes, I did watch the long form. For all you out there trying to say, well, you didn't watch the long form. I did watch the long form. But anyway, okay, I need to move on for this. But anyway, we did a video, Lori and I did, talking about how we don't approve of some of the teachings of Doug Wilson and the things that are going on in his church. There might be a lot. There's a lot of good people at his church, but we don't aspire to the teaching of Doug Wilson. So on our channel, when we talk about Christ-centered marriage, it ain't Doug Wilson style.
Hmm.
We talk about family values, it ain't Doug Wilson's family values. And when we talk about the gospel and believing in Jesus, it ain't the same as Doug Wilson says. So okay, we're moving on. And one point I wanted to say is we're not going to be one of those channels that constantly puts out reaction videos or response. Hey, well, let's talk about this guy. Let's talk about this issue. Let's talk about this certain thing that's going on. We're not going to talk about politics. We're not going to talk about social issues. So you're not going to see us talk about what's going on with Donald Trump. We're not going to do that. You're not going to see us talk about the LGBTQ issues unless it is part of biblical context. We're not going to say, let's talk about LGBT issues, LGBTQ issues,
Yeah.
the whole episode. We're not doing that. Unless we have a specific Bible passage that relates to whatever social issue.
It has to do with what our topic is. So,
Yes.
yep.
And if we're not going to say today we're talking about um, drag queen story time in the libraries. We're not doing that. That seemed like it'd be a big issue for Doug Wilson. I get it. There are some concerns with certain things, but we're not going to spend a whole issue talking about um, men dressing up like women and speaking in libraries. We're not doing that. That's not us. So I just want, if you watch that video, it was just the intent was to say this is not who we are.
Hmm.
Okay, so we're moving on. So like I said, we've been doing this close to a year, 11 months, close to a year, and some of our episodes, probably the first 3 months, they weren't very good. We were trying, and we had bad mics, and we weren't setting in good direction with the camera and the lights, and we're getting better. and eventually we're gonna be on top of this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna review some of the early episodes, and we're gonna go back and redo them. I think we need to do I think we need to do a two-part on Ephesians chapter 5, or just all the parts about where husbands supposed to love their wives like Christ loved the church, and wives being respectful. I'm gonna have to quit using that term submissive because,
It's in the Bible.
well, I mean, I'm gonna have to rebrand it in a submissive biblically because everybody from my video about Doug Wilson, when you talk about those people, when you talk about submissive, it means putting your woman in her place. That's not what it means. And when we talk about biblical submission, it's not that I'm her boss. I'm not her boss, but I'm responsible for take care of her welfare. And well, anyway, I'm gonna let her talk about what biblical submission for a wife means, and I'm gonna talk about what loving the a wife like a Christ loved the church, what that means. So we're gonna work on that. That ain't gonna be next week, but we're gonna work on that. So anyway, so look forward to getting those redo episodes to you T- tomorrow. Tomorrow, early morning, we're gonna say 9 o'clock. We are going to release the big one. This you don't want to miss this. If you haven't seen, this is the episode they want to watch. It. This is the episode they want to watch. We're gonna be candid. We're not gonna be R-rated. I mean, you can have your kids watch this. I would say you can have your kids watch this because it's going to be called. Well, I'm not sure what we're going to title it yet, but it's going to be about sexual intimacy and marriage. The issues with that, the problems that husbands and wives have with their sex life in marriage, their intimacy life, how you can improve that. And you know what the biggest theme of all this in this episode is going to be is what happens when outside the bedroom that matters the most, right?
Hmm.
That's our biggest. Here, I'm gonna give you a spoiler alert. Their marriages, sex life, and marriages suffer because the things that go on outside the bedroom need improvement. So, uh, you have your teenage kids watch it. We're not going to talk about anything that they don't need to hold their ears to. And we're going to explicitly talk about how sex is within the confines of marriage. The biblical version of sex is within the confines of marriage, not for teenagers, or not for single adults, and not what you see in the TV and movies
Mm.
or the internet. So,
TikTok.
yeah, what's that?
For TikTok.
Oh, TikTok. It's the worst place to talk about to see sex advice.
Well, that's the first place to get any advice. But yeah,
Maybe we need to put our videos on TikTok.
maybe.
Flood some good stuff on TikTok. We'll have to work on that.
There might be a few good things out there, I guess, but
Yep. Anything else we need to update before we get off here?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So tomorrow, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. So that's where we're at, Central Standard Time. So wherever you're at, it may be 7 o'clock in California or 10 o'clock on the East Coast. So 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. Be looking forward to our sexual intimacy and marriage episode, the big one. So thank you and God bless.